Tim in London asks a really important question about being brave, specifically with regard to choosing a niche perspective. And the fear is, so I think this is with regard to vertical positioning. The fear is that prospects won't want to work with their competitors' agency. How do you deal with that balancing the imperative to specialize, the
Yeah.
first proclamation, with this idea that your competitors might not want to work with your prospects might not want to work with their competitors'
That
expert?
that's the fear of a generalist, and I don't mean that to be disparaging. It is legitimately a fear. So if you're seen as a general service provider and you have a big client, big for you in the space, and they're a large percentage of your revenue, and they feel like they are your special client, they don't want you to work with their competitors. But you think of when you hire a specialist, and my thinking on this, like, or my language on this comes from David Baker. Um, you hire a specialist. What are you hiring, and why are you willing to pay a premium? Well, because they know your space. So how do they know your space? By working with your competitors. There's actually now they're paying you a premium for the fact that you work with their competitors. So it is really only an issue when you're a generalist and when you're moving from a generalist position to a specialist position with maybe one client. And I like to say, if a client says, "Hey, like you can't be working with our competitors," I think you should put a slight smile on your face, respond like you just won the lottery, and say, "Hey, if you're interested, I'd be happy to sell you category exclusivity." Like there's a big price on that. And that only works when you're a generalist. I promise you, this problem goes away quickly. When you specialize, this problem goes away quickly, which, part of your question is around courage, Tim. So there are frameworks for how you move from your current positioning to your new positioning. And if you can't bring yourself to basically turn the whole ship around, launch what we call a skunk works project, just to launch a secondary brand that is highly specialized and begin to put most of your marketing efforts behind the specialist brand. And at some point, that's a falsifiable experiment. It will prove that this is the future or it is not. And that's one way to make the transition without having to summon quite as much courage.